My beloved, you did not arrive here accidentally. You did not stumble into these words by chance. You did not see this because the world is random. You are here because today, among many, you were chosen to listen. Chosen not because you are better than others. Chosen not because you are flawless. Chosen because your soul has reached a point where it can no longer be ignored. I know what you have been carrying. I know the effort it takes for you to remain steady while everything around you feels uncertain. I know the quiet strength you use to keep moving even when motivation disappears. I know the questions you hold inside, questions you rarely speak because you are tired of shallow answers. You have been asking life to reveal its meaning to you, not loudly, not dramatically, but sincerely. That sincerity is why I am speaking to you now. You have lived long enough reacting to circumstances. Now, you are being invited to understand them. Many walk through life asleep, guided by habit, fear, and borrowed beliefs. You are no longer asleep. That is why comfort has started to feel uncomfortable. That is why routine feels heavy. That is why distractions no longer satisfy you the way they once did. Your soul is no longer willing to be entertained. It wants truth. And truth always arrives when a being is ready to take responsibility for their inner life. You may feel unsettled. You may feel as if something is shifting beneath the surface of your days. You may feel detached from things you once chased desperately. This is not loss. This is awakening from identification. You have identified yourself for too long with struggle, with roles, with expectations placed on you by others. You learned who to be based on survival. You adapted to remain accepted. You endured to remain safe. Those phases were necessary. They are complete. Now I speak to the one who is ready to live consciously. Listen carefully. The reason you have felt pressure without a visible cause is because growth has been occurring inwardly. The reason answers have been delayed is because you were being strengthened, not ignored. The reason certain doors closed is because your life was being protected from paths that would have demanded. Your soul is payment. You do not yet see the full design. That is intentional. If you saw it all at once, your mind would interfere. It would rush. It would try to control what must unfold naturally. So I reveal only what you need when you need it. Right now, what you need is understanding. Understand this. Your life is not breaking down. It is reorganizing around truth. Truth always disrupts illusion. Illusions about who you must be to be loved. Illusions about how much you must sacrifice to be worthy. Illusions about suffering being the price of meaning. I never asked you to destroy yourself to prove devotion. I never asked you to remain small to maintain harmony. I never asked you to live in constant tension. You misunderstood strength. Strength is not endurance without awareness. Strength is alignment with what is real. You are learning that now. That is why your tolerance has changed. That is why you no longer chase validation. That is why you feel resistance toward anything that demands you abandon yourself. This is not arrogance. This is self-recognition. You are beginning to see yourself clearly, perhaps for the first time. And when clarity appears, life rearranges itself accordingly. Some people will drift away without explanation. Some desires will dissolve without conflict. Some ambitions will feel hollow without failure. Let them go. Not everything leaves because it was wrong. Some things leave because they have fulfilled their role. You are no longer here to repeat lessons. You are here to apply wisdom. Wisdom does not shout. It steadies. Wisdom does not rush. It waits with confidence. Wisdom does not seek approval. It acts from understanding. This is the quality growing within you. That is why I say you are chosen today, not chosen for privilege, but for responsibility. Responsibility to live consciously. Responsibility to act from clarity instead of fear. Responsibility to stop betraying your inner truth to maintain external peace. This is not an easy path, but it is a real one. Many prefer comfort over clarity. That choice already sets you apart. You may wonder why your journey has felt heavier than others. Why ease seems to come easily to some while you have had to earn every inch of ground. It is because depth was placed within you. Shallow lives are easy to maintain. Deep lives require refinement. You were refined through experience, not explanation. Through disappointment that sharpened discernment. Through solitude that cultivated self-awareness. Through waiting that strengthened patience. None of it was wasted. Not a single tear was ignored. Not a single effort was unseen. You were never late. You were never lost. You were being shaped. Now listen to what comes next. The phase you are entering will not demand constant struggle, but it will demand honesty. Honesty about what drains you. Honesty about what no longer resonates. Honesty about where you have been compromising your soul for temporary comfort. You can no longer lie to yourself and remain at peace. That is the shift. Peace will now follow truth, not avoidance. You may feel fear at this realization. Fear of disappointing others. Fear of walking alone. Fear of choosing differently than expected. That fear is natural, but it no longer controls you. You are discovering that being alone in truth is lighter than being surrounded in falsehood. This is maturity of the soul. From this point forward, your life will respond to the choices you make from awareness. When you honor your inner clarity, doors will open quietly. When you ignore it, resistance will appear immediately. This is not punishment. This is guidance becoming precise. You are being taught directly now. That is why subtle signals matter more than dramatic signs. That is why your intuition speaks louder than advice. That is why your body reacts before your mind understands. Trust this intelligence. It has been developing within you for a long time. You are not meant to return to the version of life that kept you anxious. You are not meant to rebuild what exhausted you. You are not meant to shrink to remain acceptable. You are meant to stand in quiet authority over your own life. This authority is not dominance. It is self-respect. And self-respect changes everything. It changes how you love. It changes how you work. It changes what you tolerate. It changes what you allow near your heart. You are no longer available for chaos disguised as excitement. You are no longer interested in bonds that require self-erasure. You are no longer willing to live reactively. That is why today matters. Today marks a turning inward that cannot be reversed. From here, growth will be less dramatic and more permanent, less noisy and more grounded, less exhausting and more sustainable. This is not the end of your challenges. It is the end of unconscious struggle. You will still face decisions, but you will face them with clarity. You will still encounter uncertainty, but you will meet it with steadiness. You are not being given a new life yet. You are being given a new way of standing in life. Everything else will follow. Remain attentive. There is much more I must tell you, my beloved. Now that you are listening from stillness instead of urgency, I can speak more deeply. What you are experiencing in your life right now is not confusion. It is separation from what no longer belongs to you. Separation always feels unsettling at first because the mind is accustomed to familiarity, not truth. The mind clings to what it knows, even when what it knows causes pain. The soul, however, moves toward what is aligned, even when it is unfamiliar. You are being guided by your soul now. That is why certain relationships feel heavier than before. That is why some ambitions no longer excite you. That is why your energy withdraws from places where you once tried endlessly. You are not becoming indifferent. You are becoming selective with consciousness. You have reached a stage where effort without meaning exhausts you. You no longer want motion for the sake of motion. You want direction. Direction does not come from pushing harder. It comes from standing still long enough to recognize what is real. This is why I slowed your life down. Not to frustrate you, not to punish you, but to bring you face to face with yourself. When life moves quickly, truth can be avoided. You were brought to stillness because you were ready to see clearly. See how much of your struggle came from trying to be understood by those who could not hear you. See how often you silenced your inner voice to maintain harmony. See how many times you've compromised your truth to remain accepted? This awareness is not meant to fill you with regret. It is meant to free you. You did what you knew then. Now you know more. And with knowing comes responsibility. You are no longer allowed to pretend ignorance of your own needs. You are no longer allowed to ignore what drains you. You are no longer allowed to betray yourself and call it patience. Growth demands integrity. Integrity does not mean perfection. It means alignment between what you feel, what you think, and what you choose. That alignment has begun forming within you. That is why your reactions have changed. That is why you pause before responding. That is why you no longer rush to fill silence. Silence has become informative to you. In silence, you can hear what is true. You may notice that your tolerance for emotional noise has decreased. Drama. Arguments feel pointless. Explaining yourself feels unnecessary. This is not emotional withdrawal. This is emotional clarity. You are learning that not every battle deserves your energy. You are learning that not every opinion requires your response. You are learning that peace is not maintained by appeasing others. Peace is maintained by honoring truth. This realization will change how you move through the world. Some will misinterpret your calm as distance. Some will mistake your boundaries for arrogance. Some will feel uncomfortable because you no longer participate in old dynamics. Do not correct them. Understanding does not come from explanation. It comes from observation. Those who are meant to grow with you will adjust naturally. Those who cannot will drift away without conflict. Let that happen. Nothing real is lost through alignment. You may fear that letting go means starting over, but you are not starting over. You are continuing from wisdom instead of survival. There is a difference. Survival teaches reaction. Wisdom teaches response. Survival seeks safety and familiarity. Wisdom seeks stability and truth. You are transitioning from one to the other. That transition often feels like loneliness, but it is not. It is independence of the soul. You are learning how to stand without leaning, how to choose without seeking approval, how to move without asking permission. This does not isolate you. It prepares you for healthier connection. Connection without dependency. Love without fear. Purpose without pressure. The old version of you attracted intensity because intensity matched inner unrest. The emerging version of you will attract steadiness because steadiness now lives within. This is not theory. This is law. Life reflects the state of the observer. As you become grounded, life responds with grounding opportunities. As you become clear, confusion dissolves around you. This does not mean challenges disappear. It means challenges no longer destabilize you. You will face decisions soon that require courage. Courage to walk away without bitterness. Courage to choose differently without justification. These decisions will feel subtle to others, but they will redefine your inner world. Your future will not be shaped by dramatic events. It will be shaped by quiet choices made consistently. That is how lasting transformation occurs. You have been trained by life to endure uncertainty. Now you are being trained to navigate clarity. Clarity is more demanding than confusion. Confusion allows delay. Clarity demands action, not rushed action. Aligned action. You will no longer be able to ignore what you know. That may feel heavy at first, but it is also freedom. Freedom from repeating cycles. Freedom from self-betrayal. Freedom from unnecessary suffering. You were not meant to live life in constant anticipation of disappointment. You were not meant to brace yourself for loss. You were not meant to operate from fear, disguised as caution. You learned those patterns to protect yourself. They are no longer required. Your nervous system is learning safety and stillness, not vigilance. Your heart is learning trust and discernment, not control. Your mind is learning patience without anxiety. This integration takes time. Do not rush it. Allow yourself to be slower. Allow yourself to say less. Allow yourself to feel without immediately analyzing. Presence will teach you more than effort ever did. You may notice that your priorities are shifting. You care less about being impressive. You care more about being honest. You care less about appearing successful. You care more about feeling whole. You care less about winning arguments. You care more about inner peace. This is not loss of ambition. It is refinement of purpose. Purpose that emerges from clarity is sustainable. Purpose that emerges from fear burns out. You are being prepared for sustainability. Your life will soon demand consistency, not intensity. Reliability, not urgency. Depth, not display. Those demands will feel natural to you now, because your inner world has matured. Let me tell you something important. You are not meant to convince anyone of your transformation. Transformation speaks for itself through presence. Your calm will be noticed. Your steadiness will be felt. Your boundaries will be respected by those capable of respect. You do not need to advertise growth. Growth stabilizes quietly. The next opportunities in your life will arrive differently than before. They will not feel frantic. They will not demand sacrifice of your values. They will not require you to compromise your self-respect. They will feel simple, even ordinary. That simplicity is not lack of importance. It is alignment. Alignment feels obvious in retrospect. Do not judge yourself for that. And it is why I say you are chosen today. Chosen to live awake. Chosen to respond instead of react. Chosen to stop repeating lessons you have already mastered. Many avoid this stage because it requires responsibility without drama. You have not avoided it. That courage will shape your future. My beloved, now you must understand how to live from what has awakened within you. Awareness alone is not enough. Recognition alone is not enough. What completes this transformation is embodiment. Embodiment means you no longer act against what you know. From this moment forward, your life will respond quickly to alignment and just as quickly to resistance. What once took months to show consequences will now reveal itself in days, sometimes moments. This is not danger. This is precision. When consciousness rises, life becomes more responsive. That is why it is essential that you move gently now. Not timidly, not fearfully, but deliberately. Clarity does not depend on consensus. Let your life speak through consistency, not defense. Silence, when chosen consciously, is not avoidance. It is dignity. Dignity is the quiet confidence of one who is no longer unsure of their inner position. You are arriving there. This does not mean you withdraw from life. It means you engage from wholeness. You will still care. You will still love. You will still contribute, but you will no longer dissolve yourself in the process. This is the difference between sacrifice and devotion. Sacrifice depletes, devotion sustains. You are learning devotion to truth, not to roles. That devotion will guide you more accurately than any external authority. Listen to your energy. It never lies. When something is right, energy flows without force. When something is wrong, energy resists even if the mind insists. Honor this language. It is ancient. It is precise. It is yours. Finally, understand this. Being chosen does not mean being spared difficulty. It means being trusted with awareness. Awareness brings responsibility. You are responsible now for choosing honesty over comfort, presence over distraction, alignment over appearance. This responsibility is not heavy when accepted willingly. It becomes heavy only when resisted. You are no longer resisting. That is why this message reached you. Not to elevate you above others, but to remind you of what you already carry. A steady mind, a discerning heart, a soul that no longer wants to sleep through life. Live from that. Move slowly enough to feel your choices, firmly enough to honor your boundaries, gently enough to remain human. You do not need to rush toward the future. The future will recognize you by how you stand now. Remain grounded. Remain honest. Remain awake. That is all that is required. I am not somewhere else watching. I am present in the clarity you choose, the restraint you honor, and the truth you refuse to abandon. Walk from there.